Hi everyone, I'm Molly. Welcome back. Today we're going to learn how to make this critter pouch. This critter pouch has a zipper for its mouth, a full lining inside, of course ears, and then an attachment and a ring for your keys. Or you can use this to attach onto another bag. So let's take a look at the pieces that you're going to need. We have pattern piece 1 is our critter face. We want to cut one in fabric and one in lining. So I've got 2 pieces total cut here. Then for the critter back, it's the same. Cut one in fabric and one in lining for a total of 2 pieces. For your ears, you have the option of doing a curved ear or a triangular ear, a little pointy ear. So I've chosen on this one to start with my curved ear. You're going to need to cut 2 in fabric and 2 in lining. So that's a total of 4 pieces, 2 in fabric, 2 in lining. And then for your nose, again, you have some options. So I can do a pointed nose, I can do a triangle nose, or I can do this rounded nose. And I've chosen to do the rounded nose, and I'm going to want to cut 1 in felt. In addition to your fabric and your felt, you're going to need a zipper that is 7 inches or longer, a key ring, a piece of ribbon, your embroidery floss, of course, and needles, your scissors, pins, a regular pencil, and then your chalk pencils or any kind of marking tool. Once you have all of your fabric pieces cut out, we're going to go ahead and make our notches. The first notches are going to be on our critter face pieces. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 notches on this pattern piece. So I can put my lining and my fabric together and go ahead and use my scissors to cut little notches through both layers through my marked notch. Once I have those, I can mark my ear notches. So again, I'm doing the rounded ear. I can layer the 2 lining ears and the 2 fabric ears just in one pile here. Place my pattern piece on top, and then I'm going to cut a notch. You can ignore that this pattern piece is smaller than the ears that we cut. This is because we forgot to print this piece at 100% scale, so it's just a little bit smaller and we adjusted for it. But in the pattern that you have at home, you can go ahead and cut it to size. All right. Our first step is going to, in construction, is going to be to start assembling our ears. So I want to take 1 fabric ear and 1 lining ear and put them right sides together, and then repeat with the other set. I'm going to pin along the top of the ear only, leaving the straight bottom edge open. And I'm going to sew those together only along the curved edge with a 1/2 inch seam allowance. And this pattern has a zipper, as you know. That can be intimidating if you have never done a zipper before, or if you have and it didn't go well. So we're just going to break the zipper down step by step. They're actually pretty simple if you just have a few tricks up your sleeve. So don't be too worried or intimidated by the zipper. All right, so we have this pinned. We're going to now stitch only along the rounded edge, leaving this side open. I have my 2 ears sewn. I'll take out my pins. And I can trim my threads. And now it's time to flip my ear right side out. When I have a tight curve like this, in order to have it flip smoothly, I'm going to need to clip some notches into my seam allowance. So around this curve, I want to make triangular notches. I'm not going so close that I'm clipping my stitches, but I am going, maybe leaving about 1/8 of an inch between the stitches and the point of my clip. Once I have my triangular cuts, I can just trim a little bit of that seam allowance down just to reduce the bulk when it's flipped. And now I'm going to flip right sides out. So it's starting to form a cute little ear. All right, I am going to go to the iron and press this. I'm going to repeat with this side, and then we will be back with our 2 pressed ears. Go. I now have my ears flipped and pressed flat, and I'm going to just start folding them in. So you have that notch that you made on your pattern piece in the center of the ear. I'm going to take the corner of each ear and just fold it to that notch, leaving an open space that forms sort of a triangle here along the bottom. And then I just want to put a pin to secure it. And I'll do the same on my other ear. And you can choose at this point, you know, what you want to have as the inside of the ear, the outside of the ear. Like I could have reversed this and made the polka dot on the inside. So it's whatever you like. It's the fun thing about these patterns. All right, I'm flipping this one in, and I'm going to sew across the base of the ear just to hold the folds in place. So I will now go to my machine and sew right across the base here. I'm gonna leave, it's gonna be about a 1/2 inch seam allowance. I'm gonna leave just a little bit less than a 1/2 inch. So I'm just shy of a 1/2 inch here. I don't have to backstitch because this is just holding things in place like a basting stitch. So I've got my ears finished now. I'm going to work on the face. So I'm using the polka dot as the exterior of my critter. I have to do some markings here on the critter face piece on the fabric that I'm using for the exterior. And those markings are going to tell me where I do my stitching for my eyes, for my little eyelashes, and then also where I place my nose. So I want to break through the paper, make a dot. I'm going to do the same with these. So we've already done this here, but you can just pierce through the paper and use a chalk pencil to leave a mark. And the same here. And you're not bound by this pattern for your eyes. You could do all sorts of creative things. You can make a little winky face. You could have your critter asleep. So once you have your dots marked on your fabric, you can lift up your paper. It's hard to see on this because it has polka dots, but I have my dots here and I can now connect them. To form my eye. So I'll use some embroidery floss to stitch these eyes, and the way that I'm going to start is from the end of one eyelash, then down to the base of the eyelid. Then I'm going to go backwards. I'm going to come through the bottom of the next eyelash and then work my way back to the base of the first eyelash along the eyelid. So I'm always sort of going backwards. It's a back stitch. So now I start at the top of the eyelash, go down, and you want to be careful here that you're not pulling too much, because if I pull like that, it sort of tightens my fabric and it'll get bunched up. So you just want to pull until your thread is flat. And then I'll go back this way. If you make a variation on this eye, you should share it with us on our Instagram. It's at Sew Shop Junior. You can tag us. And you can use the hashtag critter pouch too. So I'm on my last set here, so I'll go from the base backwards and then through this last eyelash from the top to the bottom. That's my eye, and that chalk dust will clear up later. You can use a little water on it. All right, I flip on the back. I'm going to make my knot. So I make a loop, pop the loop, and pull my knot. And then I'll repeat on my other eye, and we'll be back when both eyes have been sewn. I have my eyes stitched on now, and I'm just going to finish my face by placing my felt nose on the dot that I marked from my pattern, which is here. And I just want to kind of center that over the dot, pin it in place, and then I'm going to use a whip stitch to attach this. And again, you could use a different kind of stitch. Whatever you like the look of or you like to do. So I'm coming up through the back of the nose, and then I'm going up through the felt and then going back down through the fabric. And I'm gonna space them sort of farther apart. And I'm just kind of getting a little bit of the felt under my needle. You could do these closer together, whatever you like. Okay, so I've used 6 stitches to attach my nose, and now I'm going to tie off my thread. Okay. The last step before I start attaching my zipper is to attach my ears and my ribbon with my keychain, and then we will move on to the zipper. So the ears, you've already got sewn together. We now just have to place them to the face. You have your notch that you did in your first step, and you have a notch in the center of your ear. We want to take your ear and place it right side down to your fabric. So they're right sides together with the notches matching, and the cut edges are aligned. One pin to hold that one in place, and then I'm finding my notch here, matching it with my notch on my ear, again putting them right sides together. And then I'm going to stitch a little shy of a 1/2 inch seam allowance right across. So here and here. So my ears are now attached, and I'm going to attach my keyring. You want to take your ribbon and put it through the keyring and fold it in half. I'll just cut my edges to be flat here. And then this is going to go on, you can put it on either side, it doesn't matter, it's whatever your preference is. I think I'm going to place mine on this side of my face. So I want to find my notch that I made in step 1. I have a notch here. It's really hard to see, a notch there, and then a notch there. And I can choose which side I want to place this on. So again, I'm going to do this side, and I'm placing my keyring facing in, and I'm lining the top of the ribbon up with the notch. So here's my notch, and then there's my ribbon. And I'll sew this at a 1/2 inch seam allowance. I'm gonna go back and forth over the stitch with a back stitch just to make sure it's really secure. So when I have my pouch hanging from anything else or attached to my keys, I don't have to worry about it coming loose because this will be a strong stitch. All right. Okay, and now I'm ready for the zipper. So again, I know zippers can be seen like they're intimidating, but we're just gonna take this step by step, make it as easy as possible. Okay. So we're gonna start with our zipper. You want to know which side of your zipper has the pull, and then which side is the wrong side of the zipper without the pull. And I'm going to line up my face, so my face will be right side up. My zipper will go pull side down, so the pull should be facing the table. And I want to match this corner of my zipper up with the corner of my fabric. So just like that. And then when I pin, I'm going to line up these edges, the edge of the zipper with the edge of the fabric. Now, this is a step where the way you pin can really help you out. So you want to pin with the pins going along the zipper instead of perpendicular to the zipper. So I'm pinning this way with the point of my zipper facing the pull. And this is going to help me when I sew to have the zipper really secured and where I don't have to, it's easy for me to remove the pins as I go. the way you pin on a zipper can really help you out. Okay, so I have the side of the zipper pinned. When I sew, I am sewing in the center of this side of the zipper tape from here to here. So I could even, just so you can see a little better, I could use my pencil to just kind of mark the center of that ribbon, that zipper tape. If it helps you to do that, go for it, to give yourself a line to follow. So another thing that can help with a zipper, with this kind of flat plastic zipper, if you don't have a zipper foot, you'll usually still be able to put the zipper on, but a zipper foot can really help. So if you don't have a zipper foot, you can just go ahead and put your zipper in normally, and just try to have your needle trace over that stitch line you made at the center of your zipper tape. If you have the option on as we do on our machine, of moving your needle to the left, so if I turn this knob, you'll see down below that it moves my needle to the left, closer to the foot. That will help you if you don't have a zipper foot. If you don't have that function, that's also okay. But this is just something that can make it a little easier if you don't have your zipper foot, just to move that needle. So if I do have a zipper foot though, I'm gonna keep my needle centered, just as it is normally. And on our machines, we keep our zipper feet here. So this is what the zipper foot looks like on this machine. You want to remove the foot the regular presser foot, and on our machines we keep the foot lifted and we just press this in. You might have a small plastic piece back here that you press on your machine. On some machines there's not anything that you press back here, you just simply push the foot down and it will pop off. But again, for ours we press this and it comes off. Now I have to attach the zipper foot. So the zipper foot has a bar right here, and then there's a left section. I'm going to use my pencil. There's a left section here, then a right section here. I want to attach it to the bar, the side of the bar that is below the left section. So I'm attaching it to this side of the bar, not this side. So I want to drop the left side of the bar underneath the hook, and when I drop my presser foot down, it will just click. So let me do that again. When I drop my presser foot down, if you have it aligned correctly, it'll snap on. If it's not snapping on, it just means you don't have it in quite the right place, so just move it around a little bit and try again. But now my zipper foot is attached correctly, and I want to place my zipper underneath my needle. So my needle is going to trace over that stitch line I made, and I have to pull my pins out as I go. So I'll start with a back stitch. Pulling my pins out, and with a back stitch. So my zipper is now attached to the right side of the face. It's kind of exciting. And now I'm going to attach my lining. So this part can be a little spatially challenging. So I'm going to go through it slowly again. We're going to take the right side of the lining. It's the piece that matches this face piece. And I'm going to put it together right sides to the fabric so that the zipper is between the two pieces of fabric. So I placed my fabric right sides together. I've got the zipper in between. I want to sew back along the edge of the zipper tape. so that I've now attached this piece to the zipper. The easiest thing for me to do is to flip this right now so that I can see the stitch line that I just did. So can you see here, I have my stitch line that I just made to attach the zipper. So the easiest thing for me to do is just to use those stitches as a guide and go back over them with my machine. So I'm gonna pin again with the pointy end of my pins away from the zipper pull. And now that I have my zipper foot in, I can just keep it in there. I don't have to reattach anything this time. And I'm going to look for my stitches and trace back over them. All right, now when I flip, so I'll flip my face back and then I'll flip my lining back away from the zipper. I have my zipper sandwiched in the middle. I've got the face on the outside and the lining on the other side. So this moment of putting in your first line zipper, I think is always really exciting. So you can take a little moment and be proud of yourself that you did that. I'm gonna just pin these two pieces together for this next step, just to keep them from getting caught up when you're sewing the other side of your zipper. So I have those pins through all layers here. And now I'm going to work on the back of my pouch. So you want to attach the outside of the back piece at this step. So this is my polka dot that matches the outside of my face. I want to take this and put it right sides together to my face piece. So like this. And then I'm going to pin, so I'll flip so that my zipper is facing up. And again, I'm going to pin so that the pointy end of my pin is going away from my zipper pull. And again, you could trace your line in the center of that zipper tape if you need to. I'm going to sew from here to here. So just to go over it one more time, I have the right side of my polka dot to the right side of my polka dot, and I just flipped it over to pin it so that I could see my zipper as I pin. Just sewing back over my line in the center of my zipper. This is the last piece that we're attaching to the zipper, and that is the lining for the back of the critter. I'm going to take the lining for the back of the critter and put it right sides together to the back polka dot. So this is flipping right sides down in order to sandwich that side of the zipper. So right sides down. I've got my zipper sandwiched, and just like in the other steps, I'm going to flip it over so that I can see the stitch line that I just did and use that as my guide instead of trying to do it blind. I will pin. So in this step, I'm going to pin towards my zipper pull. So let's go sew this, tracing my stitch line again. All right, so very exciting in this step. So this is the stitch I just sewed. If I now flip my back pieces away from the zipper, I've got what's starting to look like a little critter with a mouth. And you really, this feels good if this is your first time doing this. Unzip that zipper with pride. Okay, so I want to go to the iron and just press the fabric away from the zipper, both here and here, so that we can do a stitch, a top stitch along the zipper, the fabric edge next to the zipper, just to keep it flat. So I'm gonna go press this and I'll be back. I've got my 2 seams pressed here nice and flat, and I'm just going to finish off my zipper with a top stitch on either side. So I can remove my zipper foot now and reattach my regular foot, and it goes on the same way. So I have this hook here and I just want to center it over the bar and lower my foot. And I'm going to top stitch this pretty close to the edge on my zipper. So I'm sewing on the polka dot fabric close to the seam of the zipper. And I'll do the same on the other side. So I've top stitched both sides of my zipper, and at this step I'm going to attach the entire piece. So a couple things for this step. You can unpin your ears. You could leave them pinned, but I feel okay unpinning them. I just want to be careful that I don't ever have this ring getting caught in my seam. I'll talk about that in a minute. And really, most importantly, I want my zipper to be halfway unzipped. So the pull needs to be somewhere in this section. You cannot have the pull off of the fabric, or else you're going to lose the ability to zip your zipper. So I'm keeping this here, and then I'm taking the top of the face edge and flipping it right sides together to the bottom and aligning these cut edges with these cut edges. So polka dot is to polka dot. And this is where I was talking about the keychain. You want to make sure that it's completely tucked in and not in a position to get caught when you stitch, because you'll break a needle that way if you hit that metal. So I can feel right now that my ring is right here, so it's not in any danger of getting caught in this seam or this seam. And now I will pin not only along this edge, but along these edges as well. So I can do my best to match corners. So I have 4 layers of fabric now on this side that I'm working with. And it's sort of amazing at this step that the whole bag will just come together after you've sewn this. All right, where I have my zipper ends here, I want to pin them so that the teeth are touching. I don't want an opening here, or else it won't zip closed all the way. So I'm just going to keep those together and put a pin through one end of my zipper and then through the other end. All right, and I'm going to sew from, so this side is folded. I don't have to pin this side because it's already finished with a fold. I'm pinning this open edge, this open edge, this open edge, and stitching along those same edges. So I'm starting here with my 1/2 inch seam allowance, pivoting, and finishing here. I want to make sure that my stitching does not touch that metal stop on the zipper. So when I sew, I want to be on this side of that stop, not on this side and not on the stop. On this side of my zipper, as long as you have a plastic zipper, so a zipper with plastic teeth, you can walk your machine over these stitches, and I'll show you what I mean by that. If you have metal teeth, you have to be very careful here and probably will need to skip over this area with your stitching. So I'm lining up the edge of my fabric with my 1/2 inch seam allowance. Back stitch. And what I mean by walking your stitches is that when I get to the teeth, I'm going to use my hand wheel and turn my hand wheel towards me so that I'm manually moving the needle, just so that I have time if anything sort of sounds crunchy or you hit something, you're not going too fast over it. So once I'm past my teeth, I can keep going. I'm going to pivot at my corner. Pivot up this corner too. Finish with a back stitch. All right, now I remove my pins and I want to trim the edge of my zipper. You don't ever want to use your nice fabric scissors for this, so you can use paper scissors or other scissors that you have that are just sort of your junky scissors, and I'm just going to cut through those plastic teeth. Now if you have metal, that might be harder, and you definitely do not want to use any pair of scissors that you really care about to cut through metal teeth. And then I can take my fabric scissors and trim with a clip across the top edges. So this is where I have that fold, and then where I have my stitching turned on those corners, I'm going to do a clip across, and then I'm going to taper. And at this point, if you have pinking shears at home, you could pink these edges. If you had a serger, you could serge these edges. I'm just going to trim mine down a little teeny bit, just to clean them up so that all the edges of the fabric align. Okay. And now I will flip. Oh. Get those. Right, so I can open my zipper all the way and then flip. Can't wait to see this. Poke my corners out with my finger. Okay, I don't know, I think I'm gonna call this a bunny. Looks like a bunny to me. All right, and now you have a finished zipper critter pouch. You can make him say whatever you want. You can feed him whatever you want. Thanks so much for sewing with us. Make sure you share your projects with us on Instagram at Butcher Sew Shop and use the hashtag CritterPouch.